Hi folks, welcome back to our video tutorial series. In this video, I want to take a look at adding your own graphic logo. So there's a few things you'll probably want to do. First, typically when adding a graphic logo, it's either going to be a small symbol or you're going to want it to replace sort of everything in this logo branding area. So you may want to replace the leaf icon, the website name or the Rasa web, and the tagline all with one graphic if it's big enough. Or you may just want to replace a small piece of this overall branding area. Most likely it's going to be the Font Awesome icon. You'll want to put your own image in there. So let's just go with that theory for now and show you how to add your own graphic. Okay, now here's where I want to start throwing in some tips as well, because this is typically the way I would do things when I'm working with a customer or client or building a website template. When I'm using a graphic, what I want to do is make sure it's optimized for use on the web. And one of the best things you can do is go to a place called TinyPNG or TinyJPG. They're both the same site. And make sure you optimize your graphic image for use in the web. And the best way to do that is just simply drag and drop it onto the page. Let me show you. I'll just pop this little folder up here because this is where I have my logo PNG graphic that I'll be using for my demonstration here. And I'm just going to drag and drop it right onto the page. And what's going to happen is you see here, the optimization takes the image from 64 kilobytes down to 15 kilobytes. Now for every single image you use in your website, no matter where you're using it, I recommend you do this. This is one of the key elements to Google's page speed is optimizing images. So if you're not using Accelerator, you should probably do this by hand for every single image that you're working with. As you can see, the overall file size, it's 77% smaller, and it's saved a total of 50 kilobytes. Can you imagine if you had 50 or 100 images? And that's not uncommon for any website. When you have a lot of images, you can save megabytes off of download size for your images. So all we need to do at this point is just download the image. It's going to go to our desktop because that's where I have my settings. So I'm just going to minimize this. There is the logo file right there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up Dreamweaver once again. I'm going to expand my shared folder. It really doesn't matter where you store your logo. I tend to put my logos in the same folder where my library asset is. So in this case, I'm just going to drag and drop it right into the shared folder. Okay. Then I'm going to open up my website name. And what we're going to be doing is going into the code view because we're going to insert this image. Now a lot of folks will want to just work in the design view and drag and drop the image onto the page. I would like you to try this. Go to code view. And what we're going to do is we're going to be replacing this icon tag right here with your image. Okay, so you can't really do that in the design view because you can't see the icon tag. So basically we're just going to delete the icon tag right there. Use the insert image. Let this pop up here. We're going to go into the library, into the shared folder, and there's our logo right there. We're just going to select it. Now it's going to insert the image tag in here for us. Now there's a couple of things we want to do before we save the page. First is, I'm just going to give myself a little bit of space to work with. We want to remove the width and the height. The actual size of the image that we have in there, we want to make sure the image is sized the exact size that we want to work with. We don't want to use a width and a height and try and size it down. That is also a bad thing for search optimization and page speed. So we want to make sure that our image is the actual size, so you may need an image editor to resize the image so it fits into the page. So we're going to remove the width and the height that Dreamweaver may automatically add. And the next thing we're going to do is save, update, and then we're going to preview to make sure that the size of the image that we're working with works well with our overall design of the page. So here we go, real world testing going on here because I'm just going to refresh the page and I'm going to see how my logo works with the rest of my page here. Now the logo is the size that I want. However, it doesn't go well with the Collins web, and this is our tagline. Now one of the things I've done with this logo as an example is I have the text and basically the tagline is all part of the one graphic. So what I would do to actually finish this off is go in and remove the Collins web, and I would actually remove this as our tagline. I just delete those two pages or those two elements out of the website name asset and the tagline asset. So basically what I would do next is I would get rid of this H1 tag here for the website name. And then for the tagline, I would actually go in and get rid of that as well. Clear that right out. I'd leave the meta tag up at the top. That way I can reuse the tagline at some point in time in the future if I want to put something else in there. And the website name, I'm just going to go with the logo here. And save all and update. So file, let's just save all. Update our pages. Okay, it's updated. I'm going to close that down. Just go back and hit refresh on the browser and see. So now that works a lot better because the logo that I have centers a lot nicer or in the branding, logo branding area that we have here already. So it actually looks pretty sharp. So that's it. We're kind of done with that part of it now. Okay, there is one more thing we want to take a look at, and this is getting a little bit more on the advanced side, but I want to share it with you. And that is, we need to take a look at the size of the logo. I happen to know this logo is about 647 pixels in diameter, and you can always check by just sort of right-clicking and doing the inspect element. Let's see if that brings it up. 676, sorry. Gives us a bit of a size of the image there, which is nice. We have to consider mobile viewers, and the maximum screen width for a mobile phone is about 320 pixels. So if your logo image is larger than or wider than 320 pixels, probably a good idea that we add a class so that the logo can resize automatically. And there's a couple of steps to this. First step we want to do is for the image, we want to add a class. So we're just going to put our cursor right here after the double quote for the logo PNG, right? So right before the alt and after the quote, and we're just going to go and select class. Then in the class name where the cursor is blinking in this example, we're going to type in img hyphen responsive, just like so, and save and update. Now this is going to have a really weird effect, and I want to demonstrate it to you because we do need to make one further adjustment if this particular step is required for your logo, if your logo is basically larger than 320 pixels. As soon as we do this, it's going to throw the logo off to the left, and that is because the class of image responsive by default includes what's called display block, and we don't want it to display block. So what we need to do is one more step, and that is we need to just go into the site folder, the styles folder, and the style base, and we're just going to go down to and look for the image responsive class, which is somewhere around line 69. It's within the image tag. So if you've updated your style-base.css and your line numbers are a little different than mine, just look for the image responsive thumbnail, all this right here, and just remove this display block. That's just the default setting that the Bootstrap CSS provides. We leave it in there. There are situations where it's best to be removed. So in this case, once it's removed and we click on refresh, we'll see that the logo comes back to the center of the page. And now when we resize and we scale this browser down, look what happens. The company name or the logo name resizes along with the rest of the page. Whereas before, if we didn't add that class of image responsive, it would just basically stick out like a sore thumb. So that's it for this video. Thanks very much.